Hello, I'm Amanda from the AFM Macaque Coalition. This International Macaque Week, we are bringing you a series of short anecdotes from macaque people all over the world, all about macaques. Stay tuned for today's episode.
Hello everyone, my name is Cris Armengol and I'm very excited to be here today with you to talk about macaques. But first, let me introduce myself. Recently, I moved to Malaysia to work as a rehabilitation manager at the Gibbon Conservation Society. But before that, though, I spent the previous 10 years working as a primate caretaker at Stichting Up, an organization in the Netherlands that rescues primates coming from the pet and the illegal trade within Europe. During my time there, I had the opportunity to be involved in the rehabilitation and resocialization of baboons, capuchins, berbets, and of course, macaques. Many macaques. Barbaries, rhesus, pigtails, longtails, Japanese. But despite all the species variety, when it comes to rehabilitate primates that had suffered such terrible life experience, such social isolation, being neglected, sometimes physically abused, you are confronted with the individuals and its unique path through the rehabilitation and resocialization process. Often when we think about macaques, we imagine these extremely social animals living in complex societies that can even reach up to 100 individuals in some cases. However, that social setup is often something very scary and overwhelming for a macaque that comes from the pet trade. I remember this macaque, let's name him Cara, that arrived at the center in a very poor condition. His owner had recently died, and since then, the macaque has stopped eating. He was skin and bones, and on top of that, we found that he also had diabetes, probably due to a life of being fed human food. So Cara was in a critical situation, and to save his life, we needed to act fast. He desperately needed company, so hopefully that would stimulate him to start eating again. Unfortunately, at the time, we didn't have many candidates to start the resocialization. Our only option was a macaque named Curry, that have arrived 1 year earlier and was a former pet as well. However, and despite our several attempts to introduce him to other conspecifics, he was still alone. Curry was acting aggressively in every single introduction, we think most likely due to fear. He was never with another macaque before, so the fact of just a single macaque trying to approach or interact with him was something that he was not ready to cope with yet. Luckily, Cara happened to be the perfect partner to ease Curry into the social contact that both needed. Cara was able to give him time and space until Curry was calm and confident to establish the first grooming session of his whole life. It was such a wonderful moment to witness that first interaction. An interaction that took a few months to occur, but that it meant an incredible achievement for Curry and Cara. And that is the magic of it for me. There is no secret recipe when it comes to healing and mitigating the often long-lasting effects on both the mental and physical health of the macaques after a life as a pet. But when working at this level, when working with each of the macaques that arrive at the center, it becomes undeniable that each one of them has their own personality, their unique way of dealing with trauma and stress, their own baggage of former suffering, and that the only way that we can help them is tailoring as much as we can the rehabilitation process to match their individual needs. Doesn't all that sound familiar?
Whether it's sharing a post on social media, organizing a fundraiser, or simply learning more about macaques, every little bit helps. So let's unite to raise awareness and empathy for macaques globally. International Macaque Week.